May I request you all to please rise? Honorable Justice K.S. Grewal, Justice Rajiv Bhala, and Justice Kannan presiding. Today, the prayers made in the petition are in furtherance of the case against the harmful practices of agriculture residue burning being carried out by farmers in the state of Haryana, Punjab, and Delhi. The second part of the petitioner's prayer to this tribunal is a declaration of rights of nature as part of Article 21, the right to life of the Constitution of India.
My lords, we are seeking relief basically on two prongs. The one leg of my arguments is with regard to the harmful practice of stubble burning, my lords. The environment, air quality already is severely compromised in Delhi, and after this stubble burning phenomena occurring in the months of September, October, and November, my lords, the air quality goes to dangerous levels from worse. Now coming to the second leg of my prayer, my lords, that is a concept relating to rights of naturehood. I rely upon a reference of Supreme Court judgment, my lords. It's in the case of T.A. Godavra, my lords. In this judgment, my lords, Honorable Supreme Court has said that we humans are not the center of this universe. We have to coexist in a harmony manner so that we can have an ecocentric model of development. I'll demonstrate how the policies as implemented by the state are harmful, and rather than being leading the sustainable development for our country, are doing the anthropocentric approach of development, which is primarily human-centric, my lords.
Stubble burning has been a grave concern, especially in the month of October and November. For this, my lord, the government has been coming up with various solutions such as in situ, ex situ management. In situ is converting the stubble into manure, and ex situ management is setting of industrial units wherein the stubble, the biomass can be converted into biofuel, etc. There has been drastic reduction in stubble burning. Say, my lord, if in Punjab there were 89,000 count in 2020, then it has been reduced to around 49,000 counts. Also, my lord, I want to add another thing. Stubble burning happens only in 2 months, and it does not constitute the major chunk to air pollution. There are other factors also, industries, vehicle, which are making the air quality worse.
This case highlights the difference between urban India and rural India. The petitioners, who are urbanites, don't understand the problems of us farmers. Farming has been carried on traditionally for centuries, and our traditional farming was so good that we never had any problem of stubble, much less stubble burning. So it's only when we reached a stage where there was not enough food grain in the country, the government, with its policies of bringing in high-yielding varieties of rice and wheat, encouraged farmers to grow it instead of our traditional crops. Nobody in the government thought of the consequences of this change. From 3 lakh acres of land under rice in the early 70s, we have over 30 lakh acres today, with the result that the new high-yielding varieties, which produce much greater amount of stubble, has to be disposed of. At the same time, the government says you have to plant your next wheat crop by a certain date, which gives us 5 to 6 weeks to remove the stubble. Government has no policy of disposal of stubble. Stubble is not good enough to be plowed back into the field, so we have no option but to burn it.
Thank you, Mr. Sareen. Now, I think we'll ask Mr. Mehla. Have you got any witnesses? Please.
With your kind permission, my lords, I'll present my first witness, Ms. Tarini Mehta.
Ms. Mehta, do you affirm you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Kindly state your profession to this honorable court, please.
I'm Tarini Mehta. I'm an associate professor of environmental law at O.P. Jindal Global University.
Ms. Tarini, can you just in brief highlight in the current environmental circumstances, what is sustainable development?
When we look at the way in which we are using the resources of the earth, as of now we are using the resources of 1.5 Earths, which means the earth needs 1.5 years to regenerate and recover from this. So in this context then, Sustainable development basically is development that is sustainable in the context of years to come, decades to come, generations to come, and also that is equitable. This has been defined then in the 80s by the Brundtland Commission report as development that caters to the needs of the current generation, but also along with keeping in mind the needs of future generations.
Can you state us what this concept of naturehood is mean?
So naturehood or the rights of nature basically means that we are trying to move from an anthropocentric approach to an ecocentric approach, which basically means that we are accepting that human beings are a part of a larger natural world, interdependence of ecosystems, that we rely on this, and therefore comes the rights of nature, which says that ecosystems, the natural world has certain rights inherent in it.
What do rights of nature mean in urban context like Delhi?
Whether it be Delhi, whether it be the Himalayas or anywhere in the world, people need clean air, people need clean water. So therefore you need a clean environment. So rights of nature has a place anywhere.
All right. We all are aware of Uttarakhand High Court's judgment of granting River Ganga personhood right, which has been stayed by Honorable Supreme Court. In your opinion, how right of nature can be implemented in vast country like India?
First of all, the Honorable Supreme Court has stayed that judgment on very particular grounds, focusing on the fact that the petitioner had actually not pled on rights of nature in the original petition. So it's very particular why the Supreme Court said that. The Supreme Court has not overruled the principle of the rights of nature. The rights of principle continues to be implemented by high courts across the country. And to answer your question on how can this be done across India, the answer is the landscape-based approach, which is an accepted approach to the implementation of sustainable development around the world. Through such an approach, one would then be able to implement on the basis of a rights of nature approach a sustainable and equitable development model.
One decision would you take if you had the opportunity to decide?
I would say strategic environmental impact assessments as an overall way to implement policy to decide what should be the development framework for this country, and then within that, strengthening environmental impact assessments.
Manish, what are your expert research areas?
My primary research focuses on global negotiations on the problem of addressing climate change.
Can you tell us the relationship between ecology and the economy?
इकोलॉजी की जो समझदारी है साइंटिफिक वो ये है कि जो कुछ भी हमारे चारों तरफ है वो सारी चीज़ें एक्शन रिएक्शन किस तरीके से एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हैं और इकोनॉमी जो है वो असल में ह्यूमन बीइंग्स का एक दूसरे के साथ जो रिश्ता है वो कैसे नेचर के थ्रू होके जाता है जहाँ पर हम नेचर से एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं लेकिन वो एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज फिर नेचर की दूसरी और प्रोसेसेस को ट्रिगर करता है
तो इसमें एक सवाल इससे आगे ही ले जाता है वो सवाल ये है व्हाट इज द रिलेशनशिप और आई वुड से द problems in the current economic model vis-a-vis the present environmental crisis? Is there a relation at all?
रिश्ता तो बिल्कुल सीधा है आज की तारीख में अगर हम साइंटिफिक रिसर्च देखें तो एक टर्म आया है जिसको कहते हैं प्लानिटरी बाउंड्रीज तो वो ये है कि हम बहुत सारे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज को इस तरीके से एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहे हैं कि उसका जो इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस है पूरा साइकिल ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन रीजनरेशन है वो बहुत जल्दी टूट जाने वाला है कि एक हद तक जो है हम वातावरण में ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस का कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ा सकते हैं लेकिन उसके जो असर होंगे वो हमारी पूरी लाइफस्टाइल को जिस तरीके से हम अपने डेवलपमेंट को देख रहे हैं वो पॉसिबल भी नहीं होगा
Thank you. Now from this side
Yes.
the
Yes, my lord, I have three witnesses. Can you state your name, profession, और आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
मेरा नाम श्वेता भट्टर है मैं पारड़ सिंगा गांव से आई हूँ जो नागपुर से 60 किलोमीटर की दूरी पे है और मध्य प्रदेश के बॉर्डर पे है मैं खेती करती हूँ और आर्टिस्ट भी हूँ ये जो किताब आप देख रहे हैं इसमें जो कपड़ा लगा हुआ है उसके कवर पर वो देसी कपास से जो हम लोग देसी कपास उगाते हैं उसका हाथ कता हाथ बुना कपड़ा है। और ये जो है ये पराली से बना हुआ पेपर है। ये किताब जो है ये 2013 से पिछले साल तक हम लोग जो कुछ भी काम कर रहे थे उसी के बारे में बात करने वाली चीज़ें हैं।
तो ये स्टबल से बनाई हुई किताब, एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट से बनाई हुई, तो आपका कोई स्टबल नहीं होता जिसको जलाने की ज़रूरत पड़े?
स्टबल होता है, ऐसा नहीं है, पर जैसे कि अगर मूंग लगाया तो वो 3 महीने में डिसइंटीग्रेट हो जाता है, वो ज़मीन में मिल जाता है। और बहुत सारे जो फसलें होते हैं उसके चयन ही इस तरीके से हम लोग करते हैं कि वो हमारा तो पेट भरे ही, लोगों को बांटने के लिए भी बहुत हो, उसका प्रोसेसिंग करके भी हम कुछ बना पाए और साथ में हमारे जानवरों का भी पेट भरे। लेकिन जो कुछ भी स्टबल होता है उसको हम इस तरीके से इस्तेमाल करते हैं क्योंकि मल्टी क्रॉपिंग में हम लोग बहुत सारे बॉर्डर्स छोड़ते हैं और बहुत सारे ऐसे स्पेसेस छोड़ते हैं जिसको हम हाथ नहीं लगाते, और धीरे धीरे हम लोग मल्टी क्रॉपिंग से नो टिलेज की तरफ भी जा रहे हैं। तो जो कुछ भी स्टबल होता है उसका इस तरीके से अगर हम कुछ कर पाए तो वो करते हैं, उसके हमारे हमेशा प्रयास शुरू ही रहते हैं। और हमारा खाना भी बहुत सारा चूल्हे पर ही बनता है तो उसमें भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें यूटिलाइज हो जाती है। लेकिन फिर भी जो स्टबल हम लोग नहीं कुछ कर सकते उसको हम लोग मेन पर साइड में रखते हैं बॉर्डर्स पर, और उसके ऊपर इस तरीके की फसल लगाते हैं जैसे पम्पकिन हो गया जो कि मिट्टी में मिलके ख़राब हो जाएगी लेकिन बारिश में हो जाती है। तो उस तरीके से ये सारे स्टबल इस्तेमाल होते हैं।
Now your next
My lords, my next witness is a team of two.
I am Jiten Chukral. I am an artist.
Hi, I'm Sumay Tagra. Together we are Chukral and Tagra. And we've been working for the last 20 years and seeing what art can actually do.
Can you tell us what work you have done which you're going to show us to support your testimony?
Yeah, so today we have Weeping Farm. It is a research-based project which came to realize after working with farming very closely. The game talks about women in farming and the economy of loss. The game is about embodying a character and then live a year of what she goes through. I think it is very important for the urban audiences to understand what all it takes to grow up a food.
Can we play one round for 3 or 4 minutes?
Absolutely.
And get an idea of what your game is about? I am now a farm laborer, age 62. My crop is maize. I have a family of 8. I am from the state of Karnataka. I have been farming for 45 years. Due to overwork, I have developed a hunched back. I am finally free from all my debts. This is what my card is.
I am a cultivator. My age is 41. I'm sowing potatoes. I have a family of 7. You work on your family land and practice subsistence farming. However, you barely manage to break even, thus borrowed rupees 50,000 from relatives and local moneylender. Meaning thereby, I have debt of rupees 50,000.
I'm a cultivator. मैं राजस्थान से हूँ. Age 49 है. ज्वार बाजरा में बीज रही हूँ. 11 फैमिली मेम्बर्स हैं मेरे. और 1 लाख रुपए का कर्जा मेरे ऊपर है आज की डेट में, क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड जब मौत हुई तो उनका कर्जा 1 लाख रुपए था.
And now I pick a card, and the card in the game says, cyclonic storm in Bay of Bengal has led to incessant rainfall in the country. Suffer a loss of 2,500 due to excessive rainfall, damaging their fields. So from no debt, I've got a debt of a loss of 2,500 rupees.
I think one round is enough. And what we've understood, if anyone has played Monopoly,
Yes.
it's a bit
Yes,
like that.
Yes.
the life of a farmer.
Who's making money, who's losing money, and ultimately, at some stage, the debt becomes too much and the person exits.
That's right. Manat.
You spoke about personal data that you collected while making research for the game. Did you verify the data or corroborated your testimonies with the farmers or any other mode?
As I said, that we've trained in information design and we understand the ethics of data mapping. So it is mostly taken from 3 sources. There's one of us is ours, and the second one is the reputed, trusted organizations.
ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ 1 to 1 ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਗਏ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ, ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਗਏ, ਸਾਰੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਕੈਮਰੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ, ਪੂਰੀ 4 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਗਈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਆਪਾਂ। ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ, ਦੈਨ ਦੋਜ਼ ਵੂਮਨ ਕਮਸ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਲੋਨ ਦਾ ਕਾਗਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪੱਖਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ, ਇੱਥੇ ਮਰਿਆ ਸੀ ਬੰਦਾ। So we have no questions. So neither we took a picture, neither we can ask them any question. We got all the answers. So ਉਹ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਲਾਈਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਮਰਨਾ ਸੱਚ ਜੀਣਾ ਝੂਠ। So that's why we have no questions to ask.
But ਇਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਤਾਂ personal data ਹੀ ਨਾ। Personal data is based on discretion and government data is verified. Rules and regulations are to be followed. So how can you give weightage to personal data over government data?
I mean, when I can see the things in front of me, so as an artist, so we are verifying ourselves, so we want to show what we're seeing here in front of us.
One thing struck me: you are artists by profession and not the government experts. So why should your deposition be taken seriously in this court of law?
I mean, this is the most genuine response we could actually do. Like when you actually go through this dire understanding of what is happening, we always order food online and eat food, but when you actually see it through your own eyes at what else it takes to grow the food, I mean, these things comes very naturally. So there was no pretension to this, and this came out of as a response to what we saw, and the 55% of the stakeholders, like they're the women in the 74% which are actually depending on the agriculture, and they practically have no rights. So it was for us a duty, as a citizen, as a duty to kind of amplify these things.
Yeah, I do.
Please give your name and your profession.
मेरा नाम रणदीप मद्दोके है। मैं डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म मेकर, फोटोग्राफर हाँ।
जो फिल्म और फोटोग्राफी करते हैं, what is it based on? कुछ डिस्क्रिप्शन बतलाएंगे आप?
मैं 15 साल तो पेंडू ਖੇਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਖੇਤ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਤੇ ਫਿਲਮ ਤੇ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਫਿਲਮ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ। ਬਸ
ਸਪਰੇਅ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਉਹਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿੱਟਦੀਆਂ, ਸਪਰੇਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੁਣ ਝੋਨਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਪੈਣ ਲੱਗ ਕਰੋ, ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿੱਟੀ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ। ਇਹ ਜਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਾਹਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਖੱਬਲਾਂ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਸਿੱਟੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ, ਛਿੜਕੀਆਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ, ਇਹ ਖਾ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ, ਉਹ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਘਾਟ ਪਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ, ਇਹ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀਆਂ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਔਖੀ ਆ ਇਹ। ਇਹਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਆ, ਹੁਣ ਅਨਸਰ ਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਚਾਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਂਦੀਆਂ। ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ।
ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ
ਮਿਲਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਵੀਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਮੁੱਢ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਵੜਿਆ ਵਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਜੱਟ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ 'ਚ ਪਾਣੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੱਢ ਕੇ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਨੱਕਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਵੱਢੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਆਪਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਭਲਾ ਇਹ ਚੰਗਾ ਭਲਾ ਮਾੜਾ।
ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਕੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣ
ਕਿਵੇਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਲਾਮੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਵਾਲਾ 100 ਕਹੂਗਾ ਐ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਂ ਕਰ, ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਐ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਂ ਕਰ, ਐਵੇਂ ਕੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ, ਆਪਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ।
ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ,
ਗੁਲਾਮੀ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਵਧ ਗਿਆ ਯਾਰ, ਜਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਵੇ।
Randeep ji, according to you, who is a farmer?
ਜੋ ਬਿਜਾਈ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਿੰਚਾਈ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਟਾਈ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਢੋ ਢੁਆਈ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਖੇਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ। ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਟਰਮ ਪਾਪੂਲਰ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਉਹ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਹੈ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਕਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ?
ਇਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਰੈਵੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਹੋਇਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਈ ਹੈ।
ਕਿ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਕਮ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਇਨ ਕੰਪੈਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਟੂ ਪ੍ਰੀਵੀਅਸ ਈਅਰਸ?
ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਅਵੇਅਰ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਤੋਂ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਹੋਲ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ 51%, ਐਂਡ ਵਹੀਕਲਸ ਦਾ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ 27%, then farmers the 17% and
Stubble
other
burning the.
other जो 5% 5% ਤਾਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਇੰਨੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਫੈਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਹੋਰ ਘਟਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸਰ ਆਈ ਵਾਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਯੰਗ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਦੂਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਆਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਮੇਰੇ ਖੇਤ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਲਾਹ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨ ਕਰੋ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਨਸੈਕਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਸੀਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫਸਲ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣਗੇ ਔਰ ਈਵਨ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੋਇਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਔਰ ਹੋਰ ਫਰਟਾਈਲ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਇਹ ਦੂਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਸਟੇਟ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਨਾਓ ਉਹੀ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ दस रही ने
तो इसमें हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो पोल्यूशन का मेजर कारण है वो एक स्टेट लेड अप्रोच के तहत ही हुआ है ना कि जो ये जो डेवलपमेंट
देखिए डेवलपमेंट जो है मेरे हिसाब से सबके लिए नहीं है और डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग क्या है डेवलपमेंट ह्यूमंस के और नेचर के पक्ष में होनी चाहिए बट डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग कहने को सबका साथ सबका विकास है
Okay, Mr. Pannu, what do you have to say? Let's take it forward.
No, stubble burning is related to paddy stubble burning because other stubble burnings are not the issue. No, paddy is a crop which is alien to Punjab. It has come to Punjab only in 1978-79. Before that, all the creep crops, they get ripened in the month of last week of September, but this goes up to November even end. But our main crop of Rabi is sown in the month of November, from 1st to 15th of November, that's the appropriate time. But at that time, this crop is already standing in the field or is being harvested. As a result of which, this agro-ecosystem of two crops that they clash with each other, but then scientists and farm experts started telling us, don't plow your fields. You can sow the next crop without that. So therefore, agriculture is not a vocation only, it's a culture also. Because over a period of time, hundreds of years, people learn as to how one crop is to be sown and grown and cultivated. So in this case, that did not happen. As a result of which, this problem of stubble burning. The major issue in paddy cultivation is the depleting water table rather than stubble burning. Because the water table has depleted to such an extent that our Central Groundwater Board has just given a report that the whole of the underground water in Punjab will finish in next 15 years. So that that will affect the total civilization.
Is the proposed declaration of right to nature implementable in current situation for the government?
Yes, it has to be implemented because there was time when the development was affecting the environment. Now even the environment has started affecting the development because of so many hurricanes, so many droughts, so many all these things. So nature has to be the mainstay of all policy making.
Now we have concluded the recording of the evidence of witnesses.
My lords.
So now, can we have the closing statements, please? First from the petitioners' counsel and then from the respondents.
My lords. Well, 2 points were raised before this honorable tribunal today. One was that a stern action is required to be taken by the state to implement absolute prohibition on the stubble burning, my lords. My lord, with regard to my second leg of my petition, which I am trying to impress and take it out in form of statements from my witnesses also, is with regard to the rights of nature. My prayer is that rights of nature must be declared as a part of the framework of Article 21 of the Constitution of India, my lords. I take cue from a very important judgment, my lords, T.A. Godavra, my lords. My lords, this judgment, why this judgment I am quoting here is, my lords, the stress which is given by Honorable Supreme Court to the anthropocentric and ecocentric model, the difference which has been brought up by the Supreme Court, which resonates till this date, my lords. That is, if I may read these words which are very important, my lords. Well, it's the para 30. The public trust doctrine developed in MC Mehta versus Union of India also meant to ensure that all humans have equitable access to natural resources, treating all natural resources as property and not life. That principle also has its roots in anthropocentric principle. Precautionary principle and polluters pay principle affirmed by our court in Velo Citizen Forum versus Union of India are also based on anthropocentric principle. Since they also depend on harm to humans as a prerequisite for invoking these principles, the principle of sustainable development and intergenerational equity too presupposes the higher needs of humans and lay down that exploitation of natural resources must be equitably distributed between the present and future generations.
From this side, who will lead the arguments? Mr. Serene.
With your Lordship's permission, my Lord, I would like to close by saying that my learned friend has been very kind to give up his claim for special costs because of stubble burning. But he must bear in mind that it was the government's policies that led us to shift to growing rice, which produced stubble. So if we burn it, they complain about it. But they don't complain about it when they sit on a dining table and eat the rice we produce. They'd never say, thank you, you're feeding the nation. But they will say, you are burning stubble, so punish him. So my argument is, outright it should be dismissed. As far as the second point is concerned, the rights of nature should be made a part of Article 21 of the Constitution as a part of the right to life and liberty. That is my respectful submission, that rights of nature, it is not only necessary, it is essential for the survival of human race because of what we are seeing happening globally. Fires in California, floods in Europe, earthquakes in different places. Nature is showing its disenchantment with human activity. That is my prayer. The petition should be dismissed outright.
Anyway, carry on.
Please. Now, since there is reduction, the only question arises that why there isn't absolute eradication. One of the major reason is the culture. Agriculture is not, the stubble burning is not only a vocation, but also has become culture for farmers. Since many years, they have been following this culture, and to change the culture, it takes time. Lord, the government has constituted the commission, the government has been allocated funds, the commission has given 39,000, has established 39,000 of CHC, the government has been giving machineries to the farmers, there is extensive awareness program that has been conducted, then why it stopped? Well, the answer to this, I would say that every farmer, as established by Mr. Pannu, every farmer is aware what are the side effects of stubble burning because they are the first sufferer. But why aren't they doing it? It is only because the rigidity comes in picture and the cultural drawbacks. There is also responsibility on the citizen. My Lord, Article 51A(g) of the Indian Constitution Act clearly says that casts a duty on the citizen to protect and improve natural environment. The need of the hour is that there should be a collective action for the implementation of the policy. There is no problem in laws and policies.
The judges are now ready to pronounce their decision.
I would say that rights of nature, they have to be recognized, they must be respected, and we must bow to nature. There is no denying that we are facing climate change. Its impact is being felt on every aspect of our lives. We are beginning to see declining water tables, melting glaciers, extreme climatic events, floods, earthquakes, droughts. With this, we shall be seeing rising unemployment, falling economic growth, all directly or indirectly result of climate change. And scientists and environmentalists and economists and philosophers are unanimous that we have entered the Anthropocene age, the geological age in which human activity has started to have very long-lasting, damaging and irreversible influence on Earth. Every type of human activity, every act of man, be it producing or consuming electric power, building dams or rivers, on rivers diverting their waters for irrigation, drawing subsoil water building highways, tunnels, driving cars have a detrimental effect on the environment. So I would say that rights of nature must be recognized, must be protected, and doing so will help us to save the planet. But one nice thing I want to say about this venue is that we are not using too much power. A better alternative would have been to sit by a paddy field under a peepal tree and listen to the farmers and ask them what their problems are and why are they growing paddy in the first place, and why do they burn the stubble? And you would have found that farmers are very interested in expressing the point of view. They're very expressive, very intelligent, and very concerned. And they would willingly step forward and stop stubble burning voluntarily, and would not require somebody from Delhi to come and tell them, or somebody from the tribunal to go and, tell them to stop. So we are in the grip of a great crisis. Stubble burning is there. It will go away slowly. It's not the only cause for pollution, but the bigger thing we must do is protect nature and recognize the rights of nature and introduce them in the fundamental rights.
We are but one species on this planet, and remember, just one amongst the billions of species. And we must remember there's one article of faith which I try to live by, and that is that we are residents of this earth and not its owners. Coming to stubble burning, we indict the policymakers of this country or this state who look at farmers only as a tool to provide food security, but do not provide security to the farmer. We are only interested in the food that lands on our table, and we're not bothered about the farmer. And moment there's a little bit of pollution, and the eyes in Delhi begin to stream with the fumes of a little bit of added stubble burning, we start blaming the farmer. The farmer becomes the villain of the piece. And what do? We enact laws that impose fines on that very farmer who feeds you. We've even gone to the extent of jailing some of them. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And yes, there is stubble burning. I don't deny it. And I don't deny the need also to close it and to stop it. But at the same time, today we must issue a direction from this podium that the other 70% who pollute this country day in and day out must also face the same fines, must also face the same scrutiny, and don't indict only the farming community. That's the order I would like to pass. Thank you.
I think all of us are unanimous on one aspect, that the farmers of who feed us, we can't really do anything to punish them. It will be wholly wrong as a matter of principle, as a matter of morality, as a matter of even exigency, to find that it is the farmer's actions which are creating problems to us. So do we ban stubble burning? Perhaps not yet. We have not arrived to a stage where banning would become completely possible. All of us are uniform. All the parties are saying the same thing. Therefore, the prayers of what are sought for, such as to declare the rights of nature as integral to Article 21 of the Constitution, to declare the rights of nature as part of the constitutional scheme of rights and duties towards the environment and the right to life under Article 21. We declare them, and we declare them because there is really not a contest from either party. It's not merely a case of a declaration coming from us that requires so much as some emphasis driven, for they're all declared so in some sense through decisions of the Supreme Court and the NGT, and we are reaffirming the same principle. All of us, we sing the same language, we sing the same tune, we want development happening. We want the world to be seeing us in a light which is different. And if there are problems that exist for farmers, it is our nation that must respond. So we affirm the rights of what the claimants is asking. We will direct the government to do things of what have come through various directions of what my brother judges already made references to. So we conclude with warm wishes to everyone here and to the council who presented the case with such objectivity. And if there is ultimately a decision which seems like a compromise settlement, it is because that is the way the case was presented. Thank you very much. We close.